On the first one, it says Election Day morning, important reminders. We want to arrive at the polling location at 5 a.m. so everybody can get settled in, get the poll pad set up, get sworn in with the oath by the inspector. You want to make sure that you dress appropriately, whether you're cold-natured, hot-natured. Come prepared because you are there from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. at least. Bring a lunch and snacks and medicine if needed. You can have someone deliver lunch to you, but they can't come and just have lunch with you in the polling location, but they can drop off lunch to you if that's a choice that you choose. You're going to set up the poll pad, and we'll do that in a minute, but I don't know. How many of you have been a clerk already? Okay, so this is just a refresher course for the season then. And then some of them, okay, you want me to speak up? All right. The login for the poll pads will be inside the case when you are there on Tuesday morning to log into the poll pad. You want to make sure that the poll pad says 0 on it when you first turn it on, so it shows that there's no check-ins on there, because there shouldn't be anybody checked in until you open at 6 a.m. On the next one, for the voter ID requirements, we accept driver's license, ID cards, both from the state of Indiana. It can't be from a different state. It has to be issued from the state of Indiana. They accept military, veteran ID, and U.S. passports also. They can be expired, but it has to be expired after November 8th of 2022. So it can be expired, and that's the date of the last general election. If their address does not match, they will need to fill out a 412 form, and you'll just have to ask the inspectors for those. They'll be in their binders. They have the stack of those to give out to you guys. On here, there is a note that says, do not turn away a voter from the polling location due to lack of ID. You can call the office and we can walk you through the steps if someone shows up and doesn't have their ID with them on how to get them to vote. Next is the checking in of voters. Follow the poll pad guide supplied for more information, and we'll go through that one here in a moment. You're going to ask the voter for the ID, and it's going to be placed. There's a holder back here for it with the barcode facing towards you. If the voter requires assistance, there is a form, a pre-3 form to be filled out, and the judges can assist them, both the Democrat and the Republican judge. That's so it's bipartisan if that person needs assistance. And in a primary, which this is the primary, they will have to select whether they're Republican or Democrat. You'll turn the poll pad around to them for them to select it themselves. Do not ask them and select it for them. We had problems with that in the last primary where it was loud probably or whatever happened, and a party was selected, and when the person got their ballot, they said, oh, I don't want this ballot, I want the other ballot. So we want to make sure that you let them select what party they are, so it goes on them. The receipts that come out of the receipt maker that tells you what ballot they get, there will be a baggie in the poll pad case to place those in, so they all stay together. This may be at the clerk's table at some locations, and it could be at where the poll pads are, or it could be at the clerk's table where the ballots are. Some polling locations will have poll pad tables and ballot tables. Some places will have them at both. The baggie, we've had them, just it's been hit and miss on using them. Right. Yeah, we started sending out baggies last year, but it was hit and miss. Some of them come back in the baggies, some of them didn't. That's fine. That's why we have training every time to make sure we're all on the same page. On the next one is the poll pad receipt. You can see where it shows. Thank you. Yeah, of course, that's the time I'm going to turn around. Shows you where the precinct is and the split here. So on the top of the ballot, it'll say Utica 4, District it'll say a district, but it's for Jeff City. If it's Utica 4, Utica Town, it'll say Utica 4, Utica. So if you work at that location, and others will have other ones. Some of them don't have splits. And then it'll have the party to show you what ballot to give them. So if we go on to the next one, it'll show a ballot. And that's where, here is where it says the name of the precinct at the top of the page. Yes. So independents cannot vote at primary. Correct. They have to wait until the November election. And then, sorry, he asked if independents could vote in the primary, and they don't. It's just Republican and Democrats that vote in a primary. The other parties are on the ballot if there's anybody running in November. Uh-huh. They could ask for a Democrat or Republican. Yeah, they can pick that. I mean, we don't register as a party in the state of Indiana. They just have to pick it in the primary. Yeah, and if that's fine. I mean, they can do that. If they come in and ask for an independent, you just have to tell them that they have to pick a Republican or a Democrat one. The clerks, you guys will initial on the back, one Republican, one Democrat. And then it also shows you what precinct this is also on the back, just for extra if you're in a one that has splits. Oh, and here's a split ballot example. Like this is Jeff 34, and they're split with District 3. They may also have District 4, so it'll say Jeff 34, District 4 on there. So that's the importance of this election. It depends on who they vote for council. So if they live in District 3, we need to make sure they're getting a District 3. And if they live in a District 4, we need to make sure they're getting that district, because the council people are different on those races. Like your mayor will be the same if there's a mayor running for council, or your clerk treasurer, not council, but the districts are important in this election. At the close of the polls, if you have one poll pad, the number that's on that poll pad should match the number on the tabulator for the DS200 to show that that's how many check-ins, that's how many ballots. If you have two poll pads, you will have to add the number together, and that's what will equal your number on your tabulator for the inspector to check. And then you'll disassemble, and we'll go over that in a minute, the poll pad, and place it back in here and make sure everything's back in this case. And then we ask that you remain at the polling location until the inspector dismisses you, in case there's tables to take down, chairs to take down, and to clean up if there's any mess that's left behind by voters and us being there all day. Does anybody have any questions yet? Or keep on going? We're doing good? Yes.
Where can we go to learn about candidates that are running this election?
To like their qualifications and stuff?
Yeah.
I know the News and Tribune does some interviews. They reach out to them to get some stuff from them, so it's online and through the News and Tribune. Most of them, some of them have Facebook pages. You can come to the office or call the office, and we can email you a list, and it has their contact information on it, so you can reach out to them individually.
What about the ballot?
Yes, they're actually online too at clarkcountyvoters.com. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did we go to the courthouse and vote ahead of time, or did we vote that day?
If you're working at your precinct that you vote at, you can vote that day. But if you're working at a different precinct than where you should, you have to vote at the courthouse.
Are all the regular poll places open?
All the ones for a municipal race. So the ones, if you live out in Memphis, that's Union. Oh, Clarksville, then yes, yours is open. Where do you usually vote at?
It used to be a GRC school.
It is still it's still Safe Harbor, thank you. It's still Safe Harbor. So are you working at Safe Harbor?
I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to be at Renaissance.
Okay, so then you'll want to go vote before Election Day. And since she brought that up, we have early voting at the courthouse from 9 to 4 now through Saturday, and next Monday through Saturday at the courthouse. So any of you can come vote early and get that taken care of if you're not working at your precinct. Okay. And we'll go to the POPAD training guide. And I'll give you a second to get to that. Huh? I did that one. Uh-huh. Huh? Okay. Oh. This one should be POPAD training. Yeah. So we're gonna go to this one now. How many do not know how to assemble the POPAD? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. Right. And that's what you'll have the picture right here. So if we go to the first slide, what's in the case here? We have the POPAD right here. You have the base of the POPAD. Lightning cable and charger. Each one. Each one will have a stylus. Each one will have an ID tray. Oh, I guess this is the POPAD base. ID tray, printer cords. And the printer cords may be in two pieces when you get there, but it just plugs right in there one way. Doesn't have right or wrong. And as you can tell, they're kind of hard to get out.
That can be a little awkward.
And then the power cord here will plug into the back. You know. Oh yeah, I had the flat side down. So, okay, it only goes in there one way. And then the other one will plug into the wall. Let's see. Oh, then you have your screen cleaning cloth that you can clean the screen with. And then each one will have a hotspot. You only have one hotspot per location. So then we go to the next one. Parts of it's in the inspector's box, supply box. And then parts of the POPAD here. The power button. If you have the big button at the bottom, the power button's going to be in this top hand corner, like so. The home button, this big button at the bottom is a home button. The plastic shell to it is what this is. Kind of protects it. And then that's the base of the POPAD. The camera and the ID tray. And you'll notice that the ID tray is right in front of the camera because that's how it scans the ID on there. Put that there. Opening procedures for the hotspot setup. All right, so we're gonna read these. Important, you must turn on your hotspot. They must remain connected to the POPAD. So, I don't need power? Oh, well then, they charge. Yeah, that's right. So they'll be charged. Then you'll just turn them on. And if it does die, there is chargers. But if you plug it in, it automatically shuts it off. Don't ask. That's just what they do. We didn't know that until we learned. So you'll just have it, and you'll just want to sit it near you. It doesn't have to be on the table. It can be back behind you or to the side. Just want it near the PO pads.
No, should be good for all day.
Yeah.
It says it has a 2-hour battery.
I'm thinking we had ours plugged in all day.
I think we kept ours plugged in too.
Did you start with it?
Huh?
Is that okay?
You may have to plug it up throughout the day, but just don't plug it up when you first get there. Why am I not seeing where it says the hotspot has a... When connected, the display will look similar to a cell phone display. Make sure the signal is good by checking the PARs. Keep it within 80 feet of the pole pad.
It's behind you on the screen if you have a different version.
Obviously. Yes. Okay, mine doesn't say that. I just want everybody to know. Because I'm like, am I blind? No, my number 3 does not say that. It sure does. Okay. So maybe that's why we got lost earlier because, okay. Anyways, so you can charge them because there will be a charger with them. So if we go on, you'll be able to know on the pole pad if your Wi-Fi is on. So it's not like you have to keep going back and checking this. That pole pad will tell you. And we'll go and proceed, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So if we go to the opening procedures of the printer, I showed you how to plug it into the back of it, connect the cables. You'll plug it into the wall. This one's already plugged in. So there is a green light that shows that the power is on, and it will automatically sync with the PoPad. Each PoPad and each receipt printer has a number. So this one's 32, and this one is 32. So they'll sync automatically. It's nothing that you have to do. Yes, it's on the next step. Yep, you're fine. Yep. So then make sure your check-in table is close to an outlet. That's right. You'll want to make sure the table that you do your check-ins is as close to an outlet. Each polling location will get an extension cord and a power strip for the poll pads. So yeah. So we do send those out. And then on the opening procedures of the poll pad setup, I'm going to take this tray off so it don't fall. But you have the back of this is already on here, and you have the back of the poll pad. And this just sits in, it just pushes in there, and it stands. So if you take and squeeze in the sides of the green buttons here, and then place your poll pad there, it'll lock right in there. No, you're fine. Yeah. And so when you take it off, you just squeeze those buttons and it comes right back in. So yeah, if you're trying to, it won't, and you can see there's little grooves, even if you put it in this way, but you don't want it to stand that way, it won't read correctly. So we put it in sideways there. So we're good. And then you'll have your ID tray. And your stylus will go in here. And it's ready there. And you can plug in your poll pads as needed. They'll be fully charged. They've been charging on a charging cart. So hopefully they'll stay charged for most of the day. It just depends. Some of them go down faster than others. And then let's see, is this on? I think it is. Yeah. And then your screen will look like this with the poll pad on there. It'll say poll pad. And then the opening procedures of just some reminders. Okay, and this is where we get to the printer must be connected to the poll pad via Bluetooth. So I'm just impatient. What is it? It's not loaded on here, is it? Okay, the like voters. Thanks. So in this top right hand corner, when you're facing the poll pad, you'll see a red icon. That you see the red icon on the piece of paper, that needs to be green. That means if it's red, your printer is not connected to it. So that's how you'll know if your printer is connected.
Back up just a second.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you all do, because I'm afraid to touch the thing, especially at the end of the day. I'm afraid. Like,
Don't be afraid to
I
touch
don't want to delete everything we just did.
You're not gonna hurt.
Yeah,
you're not
you
gonna
can't
hurt
delete
anything.
anything.
What did you do that we're going to need to do to get this up and running? If we push on, then what happens first?
Hit the home button.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get out of this.
I need every step.
You're fine.
There'll also be a printout that day that's in the box also. Yeah, you can't delete the voters off of here.
So when you turn it on, it's gonna look like this.
Okay.
You're gonna tap the blue P, or
Green.
green P at the bottom of the screen,
Okay.
and it's gonna open the poll pad application.
Yeah, I was trying to swipe it.
And all of your indicators are gonna be up here at the top. The red printer, the green cloud, everything should be green up there if it's working functionally and connected. Any issues will be another color, red or orange.
Okay, so then we just have to check off the cords.
Just check your cords and be sure that your printer is on, has paper in it.
And then the hotspot, there is the cloud with the arrow next to the printer. We're still on opening procedures. So the next to it is a cloud with an arrow. It should be green. If it's red, that means the voters aren't being sent over to us to tell us who's been voted. And that's how we keep up with the count. So then you'll want to go over to your box and make sure that it's on and get that connected. Because if it stays red for too long, the inspector will get a call from the office saying, link up your poll pad, because we need to have that updated so it stays updating all through the night or all through the day.
What's the little box called?
The Wi-Fi.
Does that plug into anything, or is it just?
It'll be charged, and if it dies, it does have.
So just the electric.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a router.
Yes. Let's see, is this in here? It didn't have the setups. Okay. So once you have it on here, you'll click get started, and that's where it's going to ask for a password for each party. That's going to be in your green poll pad when you open it that day also. And that'll be all that's on that sheet. Yeah. So then let me get it. I'm not going to touch nothing after this.
What did you do to get the keyboard to come up?
It just, when you say get started, it comes up automatically. So then this is your start screen here where your IDs are. So if we go to the next one, processing of voters, scanning barcodes and IDs. So you're going to lay that ID on the back here. Yes, it's in training mode though. In the back here, and it'll take a picture of it automatically if you put scan barcode. And then that camera's kicked on so it can try to scan that barcode. For some reason, if the person doesn't want their ID to be scanned, it doesn't have to be. You can do a manual entry. And the less you type, they say to type in just 3 letters of the first and last name. And then it'll pull up those names with those 3 letters. You'll ask them their name, and you just select who they are. And make sure and go ahead and proceed to check them through.
So if they come without an ID, that's how we
No, you have to call the office. Some people do not want their ID scanned, so they still have to present the ID, but then you can manually check them in. You don't have to scan every barcode. Yes. Yeah, you right. Passports, yeah, that's very true. And for some reason, I think they had issues with newer license that was coming out. The barcode might have been a little wonky or something, but yeah, the glare also can sometimes, because sometimes if you put your hand over top of it, it'll take it. Just something you just never know, but it can be entered manually, so we can get the voter voted. So just remember about the expired IDs. As long as it's after 11/8 of 2022, they can still use it. Let's see. So once the voter is located, once you match them at the poll pad, it'll take you to the signature page. So this is me, verify my address. That's me, all my information. My address is unchanged. So then it takes me here, and I accept that that is who I am. I pick a party, and then it takes me to the signature page, and I sign my name. And then once they're done signing, it comes to compare signatures. Obviously, I did not write my name out very well. So, well, I'm not going to send it through there. But you're just verifying that that's them, and then they match, and you just press submit. And then you just kind of look at them. People sign differently. You don't know when that signature of mine is probably when I registered in 1996. I don't write like that anymore. So, right. And some people can't write with a stylus. You have to think this isn't an ink pen. So we're not there to, we've checked their ID to make sure that that's them. Some people will. Yeah. They've learned those people have learned that if you just make an X on a poll or a signature pad when you're swiping your credit card, that's all they do. Yeah. Right. So this will not pop up because it'll be printed up, and your paper will come out and tell you what ballots that they get. So let's see what else we have on here. From the voters' names and their addresses should be there. And if they're in a different location, this one has everybody on it because it's a courthouse poll pad. But say somebody comes to your polling location and you're at First Presbyterian, which is 1, 2, 4, and 5, and you pull them up and it says, "Oh, that person should vote at CASA here at Jeff 3 over at CASA at the CASA building." You'll ask the person if that's them, and you explain to them that they need to go to that polling location to vote, and it'll even give them directions. So it'll print them out on the paper receipt if they don't know where that's at. So and it won't let you check them in. You won't be able to check them in, but it will pull them up, showing that they're at the wrong polling location.
Is there a high volume of location changes for this election?
No, the only change is Clarksville Middle and High School are going to the Renaissance Academy. No.
Okay.
There could be signage at Clarksville.
Yes. Telling them to go to the Renaissance Center. Yes. And we sent out postcards. Yeah. Oh, good. All right. Because we've got a lot back. No. No, we combined both of them. Let's see. Verify. And that's what it says. Verify the signatures that they look similar. But we're also not signature experts either. So you're just trying to, and like she said, some people just make a mark. And then if you're at a polling location where their ballots are at a different table with a different clerk or judges, you'll give them that receipt, and then they'll proceed back to the next table. If you have them there, then you'll pick whichever one that they have printed out on that receipt. Okay. Processing, and we went over the voters manual search. Type in the first 3 letters of the last name and the first name. And that will be, if you cannot locate the voter, then contact the voter registration office, and you'll have that phone number on the next list that we'll go through here. Changing the receipt paper. Because Rick said they ran out, so sometimes you will run out of paper. These are very low, but these are the courthouses. The inspectors will have extra paper in their supply box for everybody, but you can kind of see how the paper is turning. So you do not want to take and force that to turn the other way because it is thermal paper and it will not print out. So you might want to make sure that it rolls out over the top of the machine. And trust me, if you put it in there wrong, you'll know after the first voter because it won't print anything out. But you'll know what they have being on there, or it might be in the should be in how to print, or call the office. We'll help you reprint the receipt. Yeah, you'll have paper. It'll be paper in there to start. It's just if it runs out.
Allow you to reprint if you're out of paper.
Yeah, and you can call the office and we can walk you through that. The last one is the sync the cloud. Kind of went over that. That's the most important part. We want that cloud to be green all day. And I mean, if you look up and it's red, don't worry. Just go through your steps when you have a minute. You don't have to hold voters up. Wait till there's nobody in here, and then go and get that cloud to be green for us again, so we don't have to reach out. Because sometimes cell phones don't work in the buildings, and we're having to send people out in person to say, "Hey, we need you to get on the Wi-Fi," so the voters will get updated. Because we have people that call the office to see how many people have voted, who's voted, and then they're reaching out trying to get people to go out and vote from different packs or groups or whatever it may be. I think I got ahead of myself. Okay, next is the closing procedure. Give the number of the check-ins to the inspector. Like I said, if you have one poll pad, it'll be that total number. And at the main screen, it'll even say check-ins, and this says 0. And right now it says we have 99,934 voters registered in the county of Clark in here in Indiana. So, yes. So that number needs to match what's on the inspector's number. So we're going to power off the hotspot at the end of the night. You just press the power button and hold it, and it'll pop up and say, ME5 powering off. And you just power it off. And we're going to put this all back in this box just like it was. So let's see.
Can you kind of stand around up there?
If you'd like.
Sure.
Yep. If you'd like, come on up.
12 hours later.
Yeah, 12 hours. And
Well, if you take this with you at the very beginning, there'll be a picture. Yeah, and you can take that with you because these materials are for you. So, yeah. So if you want to come on up, we're going to pack it up. Okay, but hold on. Does anybody have any questions before I do pack it up that they want to see or know? Okay. All right.
All right. Hotspot. Right here in the front. Cable, plugs. All together. ID tray.
Oh, I handed it to you wrong.
That's okay. And there's a method to the madness, trust me.
exactly, and that's why I
Stylus.
have so much trouble.
There's a hole right here. It's like a golf hole. Disconnect your lightning cable and brick. Roll up your cable. And it goes right behind the ID tray. Nice and neat. Poll pad, glass side to the felt, please. That protects the screen. The back side is protected by the shell, so that's good.
Nope, we got, oh, okay.
Yeah. Your base folds up. It goes in the round section of the case. Cables and cords. It all came out, so it will all go back in, trust me. You may not think so. Round base sits right on top. Cleaning cloth, your printer. If you have more than one pull pad in your location, please make sure that your number on your printer, your pull pad, matches what's on the outside of your pull pad case. That will help us tremendously at the end of the day. And then obviously the printer goes right back in the square hole that it came out of.
It's something fell on me.
Oh.
No, that just
And
seemed too
you're all
easy.
packed up.
We might have done it a few
We might have
times.
done it
I
once or
think
twice.
it's all the cords.
Yeah.
I probably tried to.
Sure.
In case the other
Sure.
one don't look so good for you. There you go.
And exactly how to power down the iPad. I think
Just the power button.
okay.
You hold
Same
it.
button you use to turn it on.
If you hold the power,
It'll be at the point where, as if it were ready for the next person, but
Mhm.
you just power it down.
and then just swipe it, and it turns off.
It seemed like I had some kind of problem when I was ready.
No. So then we have the checklist, which this is given to everyone, clerks, judges, inspectors, and we just tried to do a step-by-step of what that your duties are. It's a duties checklist. So clerks won't have to meet up on Monday night to set up the polling location. That's the inspector and the Democrat judge. So it's a bipartisan team that's there to set it up together. So the first item for the clerks for election day is on the second page. So that's the setup of the poll pads. Turn them on, log in. The number of check-ins should be 0. It's a lot of repetitive in all of this, just to keep on the same thing. Judges will assist with the clerks with the poll pads if needed. So if you need some help, reach out to a judge. They may know. If not, you can call the office. Then it goes down here to the bottom of the page. Initial the back of the ballots. Both a Democrat and a Republican have to initial each ballot. Ask for a photo ID and obtain any required residency documentation as noted on the poll pad. Sometimes when you check in a person on the poll pad, it will want their driver's license number. There's a box. You just click on it. The keypad will pop up and you'll enter their ID. And that's for when they registered, they didn't provide their ID number to us. So they're just verifying that when they go to vote.
And all the initials should be in red. I know it doesn't really say that, but when you're initialing the back of the.
They want it in red, but we've had where the red pens have died and they've done it in black. But they do prefer red because it stands out. It's easier to see. While checking in the voters, ask the inspectors for his assistance if the following occurs. Voter ID doesn't meet the requirements. If the voter requires assistance to vote. If you cannot find the voter's name in the poll pad and after trying a manual search. Enter the 3 letters of the first name and 3 letters of the last name. And the voter's ID does not have to match the address on the poll pad. The ID is just to verify that that's the person that's in front of you to vote. So they may have updated their registration, but not their driver's license or vice versa. The next is give the voter the precinct receipt that prints the poll pad. The voter will present the receipt to the clerks giving out the ballots depending on the polling location. They may or may not have a separate table for ballots. The precinct receipt is kept at the polling location and returned to the judicial center with the supplies. Containers for the receipts will be provided, and that's the baggie. But let me talk about the ballot table for a moment. If you were at a precinct, I'm trying to think of one that has some splits. I know the Renaissance Center, for instance, it's a new one. It's going to have the Clarksville Middle School and Clarksville High School there. There is lots of splits between each precinct there. So those people who work at that location as clerks or judges need to make sure that they are paying attention, that they are giving out the right party, the right precinct, and the right district. We want, that's something that's highly important and needs to be, it's just not, oh, here's you a ballot. There's not going to be a table of 8 ballots and they just come and pick one. That's why they get a receipt, to make sure that they get the correct ballot. So that is very important and needs to be focused on. And then at the close of the polls, you obviously will give the inspectors the number of check-ins and disassemble the poll pads as they were before. Then you're, as a clerk, you will not be coming back with the inspectors or the judges, so you don't have to come back to the courthouse that night. But you, as a clerk, have the right to contact the election board or the voter registration office. So we have provided the numbers for all of us. The office numbers on there that goes to all the phones in our office. I'm Angela Cornett. That's Chrissy Henson. And this is Jim Crowder. So I know me and Jim will be upstairs to answer the phones. Chrissy, I think, is going to do central count, but there could be somebody at her phone if you call it. I'm not sure. And then you have the cell phones of the clerk, Ryan Lynch. Andrew Still is the Democrat election board, and Mark Grube is the Republican election board. But you can reach out to any of these people if you have any problems, questions, or concerns. Does anybody have any questions? Because I just want to make sure everybody, or anybody want to come and pull the poll pad out and assemble it and disassemble it themselves, they can do that tonight too.
And if anybody wants to play with checking in, you can certainly do that on this setup.
If you don't have any questions, I feel like they're free to go. Do you have anything you would like to say or anything to add?
Like they said, if you have any other questions, we're here. We're gonna hang out for a while.
Yeah.
But
And if you think of anything, you can contact us before the election. If you go home and you start looking at stuff, call us. Come in the office and we can play with the poll pad. I mean, we're there.
This is very helpful to have a smaller crowd, and having done it twice.
Thank you.
uh,
I hope so. That was our hope.
The first year you were talking poll pads, and I mean, you were on page 4, and I was like, what, and so it was very difficult. But having done it and seeing where the difficulties are,
Yeah.
it helps.
Thank you. Yeah, we were hoping that, yeah, you'll want to take all that with you on election day. But for some reason, if you forget the poll pad, there will be another one that's by the company that comes with that to help you, to make sure that you have something.
You said the password or sign in.
Yeah, the passwords will be in here for everybody. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Yeah.